What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I am coming at you guys today because, of course, we're going to be talking about two particular search cards that I've seen a lot of Harpie players talk about. That's Swallow's Cowrie and Small World. So these cards aren't too new to the trading card game. They've been out for quite some time now. Cowrie is a TCG exclusive that recently came out about this time last year, and Small World has actually been out for the last couple of years in the TCG since 2013 to 2021. So it's been here for a minute. So what's the particular issue behind these cards? Well, so you guys know I do my research. I look at other deck profiles from other, content creators, and particularly Dark Arm Duelist loves using Small World. There was also a blog from TCG Player about a Harpie build that was more as competitive using the Small World engine and the normal variant of Harpie Lady, which cool. That's a spectacular way of getting the engine itself together. While many people have been going to Swallow's Cowrie as an alternative to the Harpie engine to correct the hand, but also help out with the graveyard. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about these two titans and what my personal opinion on each of them are, because this definitely does impact you as Harpie players. I probably will do some more videos to talk about cards from either, the past or the present, and really focusing on how they help in, utilize the strategies for future Harpie decks to come. So, we're going to start off the video by talking about Small World. So Small World is a normal spell card, and it says you reveal a monster from your hand and choose one monster from your deck that has exactly one of the same level, type, attribute, attack, or defense. Then you banish the revealed monster that's from your hand face down. Then you add from your deck to your hand one monster that has exactly the same type, level, attribute, or attack or defense as that monster from your deck. And then banish the chosen card from the deck face down. So, use one Small World per turn. Now Swallow's Cowrie is the other card we're going to be talking about. This is a quick play spell, and it says you can tribute one Wingy Beast monster in your hand or face-up field to add one Wingy Beast monster from your deck to your hand with the same level that the tributed monster had. You only activate one Swallow's Cowrie per turn. So individually, these cards have the same goal, adding cards from your deck to your hand, but their methods are completely different. Swallow's Cowrie is more Wingy Beast oriented. You can look at it as a variant of Bonfire, if you will, where it takes the certain levels of a monster and adds it to your hand. The only difference is this Swallows is going to tribute your monster that's either in your hand or on your field to go get the other card. While Small World is basically sacrificing two cards. One is already in your deck, one is in your hand, to help you then search for a card that's in your deck and add it to your hand. There's either the same type, level, attribute, attack, or defense of the monster that you're searching. So all three have to have that same thing, or at least something corresponding within those three. Now, let's look at this picture, overall. These are two search cards that can have really amazing setup and output to your deck. But differently, the difference is that Swallow's Cowrie focuses on your deck orienting to Winged Beasts, meaning that you're going to be using Winged Beast monsters directly to basically thin out your deck to get more Winged Beast monsters, and either add them to your hand, put them into your deck, or for the most part, continue whatever combos you're trying to do, because there are a lot of combos that you can do with Swallow's Cowrie. Not saying you can't do them with Small World, but Small World is more so of a generic setup where it can pick particular cards to get particular cards and then banish what you didn't need, because at that point it sounds like you got something in your hand you don't want and you want to go deep into your deck to get those cards. while also getting rid of other cards in your deck that are going to be dead. This is a card that I would say would only particularly work in a deck that is using a Garnet, if you will, of that archetype or of that deck to then go get something more beneficial. It's funny because when I say this, there are particularly a large amount of decks that do have a card or cards that you do not want to have in your hand, but you can go and get something more beneficial and then probably thin out the deck with something else that you don't want to draw into and then get rid of that card. Now, in particular with Harpies, like I said, I've only seen the two instances where Dark Arm Duelist is using his for his vanilla variant of Harpie Lady, and then the vanilla variant that was on TCG Player. Basically explaining that, like I said, they're trying to use Small World to thin out things to get other cards. While it is very beneficial on its standpoint, the execution of the card seems very much a -2 to get 1. Because if you know Harpie needs as many of its resources as it possibly can. Where if you're taking advantage of getting rid of something that's already dead, why not replace it with something that can be beneficial instead of just taking out 2 things for the price of 1? Then you look at Swallow's Cowrie. We're essentially doing something similar, but at 1 less card than you would use for Small World. See, Swallow's Cowrie has the ability that you're going to tribute a monster that's already in play or in your hand to go get another monster and add it to your hand. Now, this could work in its range because there are a couple of monsters that are set up like that. You can, go get Oracle, you can go get Perfumer, you can get Channeler, which are pretty much some of your, Channeler and Perfumer are your bigger hits. Oracle is more so of a hit that if you want some extension, because remember, you can play off of having certain levels that are already on the board to get certain things and put them into play. Like, for instance, if you already had a Perfumer, she's used her ability, you can Swallow's Cowrie her to go get an Oracle, and then place the Oracle on the field, and then benefit from Oracle's effect at the end phase. Or maybe tribute a Harpie Harpist when she's in play for whatever reason, but then get 2 searches, because you'll have a search at the interface and you have a search for your hand to then be able to get another card, which that in case replaces the -1 situation, if you will. It's a very weird thing when I say this, because this is the mentality most Harpie players like myself go through when we're trying to basically make sure that our combos and our combo pieces work really well, because at the end you want a strong enough board that you can retaliate against your opponent. I know that there's a lot of issues, of course, because competitive play hasn't been Harpie's thing for a good period of time, but even with the casual sense, you want to have that utility to still stand out and deal with a lot of issues from other decks that are still in the game. So it's very understandable when you align things up. Now, for the preferences that I particularly take, because I have tried to use both of these cards, it's very much so I will lean towards Cowrie more than I will Small World, for particular reasons. Small World isn't a bad card, but its utility does not mesh well with my choice in terms of the cards that I search for or the cards that I utilize. This is because of the fact that I focus on making my decks tend to focus on having access to any area in which my Harpies have access to on their own. If I have to use additional cards to fill in some voids for that, then that's perfectly fine. But that also, in its own sense, means that I would have to also put into the setup where, I'm going to be getting these particular cards, so then I can't run to get another set of particular cards to make up for it. Now, and I should explain that, because, so, what I mean by particular cards to get particular cards because of particular things is that you want to still be able to pick up your cards, but also at the same time be able to make sure that you aren't losing as much as you're getting rid of. And it's a one thing because you still have to deal with stuff like Ash Blossom, which Ash can negate both of these. you still have to deal with stuff that, like Joel and Logbird, that's going to stop you from adding cards to your hand as well. So you have to play around those. These can easily be cards that can help you take out those cards if need be. And hopefully you have a Harpie's Featherstorm as well to counteract both of them if need to. So it's a very, very strange thing, but it's also a very, this is what goes on when you have to build these decks. You don't know exactly where your 1-2-1s are going to be, or where your minuses and pluses are going to be. Because for me, if I'm playing Small World, I want some type of engine to recover what cards I'm losing. Especially because there aren't too many cards in the game that work well with Harpie in terms of playing around with the Banish. There are a couple, like for instance, if you look at, what is it, Darumadal, Firefighting Darumadal, that was actually a really good card that Harpie used when it came out, because it focused on recovering cards from the Banish or the Graveyard. It's still a really good card, but it's just too well played out for its own. Most people, when they were running to Garuda and Sylphie as extenders, which to be fair, I think those are some really good extenders, but the thing is that Harpies don't have recovery. So it really just playing out for the deck and how the deck gets utilized. And I know some people are saying, well, we use the Small World engine to help minimize the whole issue that Harpies have with, dead hands, which is perfectly fair, because how many Harpie decks, say, ooh, I really got a bad hand, I wish I had a card that corrected. Then when we get the cards that correct it, it's like, ooh, how many minuses am I going to take the plus off of this change? And then how well do I have to, utilize other methods in order to keep things going? It's part of the reason, the process that gets very hard with deck construction. In, figuring out how to get the construction of your deck going when you have to get pieces. So maybe this will also be a way to help some of those who are saying, what other cards can I use to make up for these losses? Or what things can I do if, let's say, the strategy gets interrupted and then I lose out on the cards? So that can be some things that you think about as well, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Has always been one of those things where you're trying to think 2 steps ahead of what you're already thinking about in the current situation. So maybe then it will just help out try to get some more things together. Because God, Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs it. And unfortunately right now, Harpies don't have any monsters of their own to mitigate the banished area, or to utilize things in the banished area. But luckily enough, Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself does have some pieces that you can utilize to your strategy, and maybe even benefit from there. Well, I come up with those strategies, and look, no, if I had, please do try to use them. Just don't, if you credit me, that's great. But do try to utilize it well, and then, people can be like, yeah, I learned the strategy from this person, and it works really, really well. And, showcase it, and, how you can deal with interruptions and stuff. Because that's how helpful Yu-Gi-Oh! Players should be. So, in my final thoughts to the video, my personal preference here, while I wouldn't use either, but if I did pick one over the other, I'm going to go for Cowrie, because my deck focuses more on Winged Beast. I like the Winged Beast strategy, but I don't knock anyone who's going to use Small World. And if you are using Small World, you're most likely using this with Harpie Lady, the normal monster, and God forbid, that's definitely a monster who, look, the Harpies need some support bad. We really do, especially because Rush Stool is getting way more support than we've had in years, legitimately. Or maybe move the Harpie monsters over from there to the TCG and give them some effects that help out with banish mechanics, or when banished they have other actions. It might help out. So, let me know in the comment section what choices you're going to be using. Do you want to use Cowrie or use Small World? How are you going to implement that? And which one do you prefer more if you had the choice? Let me know all that in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I have to make a run right after this. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, as it helps out tremendously. Hit the notification bell to be informed of when I upload more content. My social media links are in the description box below, and please check out more of my content on the channel. Thank you guys for the 15 years, and many more to come. HBJ signing out. Take care.